Thank you, Dean Papadopoulos. Congratulations to the 2026 graduates on this transformative achievements in your life. And to the parents, the mentors, the friends, and other family members, congratulations to you for your support as well. A day I will never forget is when my oldest daughter graduated from USC Viterbi just 2 years ago. My daughter's a proud Trojan, and so is my family. USC Mann is the #1 ranked pharmacy school and one of the best pharmacy schools in the United States, if not in the world. Under this tent today are the collective skills and people to transform science and patient care. You are the future experts in clinical pharmacy, science and patient care, regulatory, medical affairs, marketing, on and on and on throughout industry as well as the clinic. And some of you will see opportunities that do not even exist today, and you'll become entrepreneurs. The world of pharmacy and medicine is very dynamic. The ecosystem is big and is out there waiting for each and every one of you. During my 35-year career in the pharmaceutical and biotech industry, I have had 15 roles in 5 countries and 9 cities. And during this journey, I have seen how people develop and advance in their careers. I would like to share with you some of the wisdom that I've gained along the way that you might find valuable in your journey. Long and successful careers are rarely built out of one big break. They are built out of small opportunities that compound over time. You will climb your career ladder one rung at a time by saying yes to opportunities that you're probably not ready for, but you'll give each one of them 100%. Throughout my career, I have learned something you will carry forward in your career, no matter which direction you will take. Early in my years at Johnson & Johnson, I was introduced to a concept called the 3 R's: results, relationship, and reputation. These 3 elements determine whether opportunities keep coming to you, whether you survive the moments when things go wrong, and will ultimately define your professional career. I joined the Army when I was 17 years old. At 18 years old, I was in basic training. Neither of my parents had gone to college, and I had no money to pay for it myself. The Army was my way in. I enlisted first, and then I earned an ROTC scholarship that paid for college. My father was a police officer, and my mother was a county clerk. The natural path for me would have been to follow my father into the police force. And while I was extremely proud of my father, I knew that was not the path I wanted. But I had no clue what I did want, and education seemed like a way to change this path. And I imagine some of you are sitting here today with the same feeling. You may have a job lined up, you may not. You may have a career plan for the next 10 years, or you may have no idea what next month looks like. This uncertainty, it's not a problem you need to solve before you walk up this stage today, but instead be treated as a starting point in your exciting careers. After I graduated from college, I went on active duty in the Army as a 2nd lieutenant. I rose to the rank of captain, and I served as a company commander in the First Gulf War. Although I excelled in the military, I knew I could do more and faster and somewhere else. But I just didn't know where that somewhere else was and what industry that would be. When I left the military, I was 27 years old. I had no real relevant business experience. I'd never launched a drug nor led a sales team. All I had was the relationships that I'd built in the military and the reputation I had earned as someone who showed up, did the work, and led others well. My friend from the Army referred me to a role in my first healthcare role at Johnson & Johnson. But you've been building the 3 R's for years. You may not have realized it. You've been showing up to classes when times are tough, and you didn't have to show up. You've been studying for exams that nobody outside this tent is going to ever be aware of. And every one of those moments, it was a relationship being built and a reputation being earned. You are all at different points in your careers, and you may not feel like you have tangible results to point to yet. But I would argue that you have something more important. You are walking out of here today with a degree from one of the best pharmacy schools in the world, and with a network of classmates and faculty and mentors who will remain in your life forever. You already have 2 of the 3 R's working for you in your favor before your career has even started. But what you do with that is up to you. When I joined Johnson & Johnson as a sales representative, I was at the bottom of the food chain. I drove between hospitals and clinics, educating physicians and pharmacists on our medicines. To this day, I can still recite the dosing for Imodium, 2 caps stat and 1 after each loose stool. So after 3 years of strong performance, I was promoted to sales manager. The catch was the team I was inheriting was ranked dead last, 55 out of 55 in the country. By year 2, we ranked number 5 in the country, and the year after that, top 5 again. That risky result opened more doors. A lot of you are going to be offered a role or version of that at some point in your career. The therapeutic area or department nobody is rushing to staff. The disease area nobody wants to model. The instinct will be to wait for something better to come along. Hard problems do not have a long line of people waiting to solve them. Show up to the ones that do, and people will notice. Sometimes the role you wanted the least ends up being the one people hire you for the most. In the middle of my career, I was offered a senior leadership role. On paper, it looked like a great promotion. I went to the president of the company for advice. He was Australian and used a lot of nicknames. His nickname for me was the Meekster. So I went to his office, told him the situation. He picked up a resume off his desk and held it up and said, "Meekster, if you take that role, you'll be just like everybody else. Do something different, you can do better." I turned the role down immediately after that. That taught me that saying yes to opportunities does not mean saying yes to every opportunity. The question to ask at every point in your career is, does this differentiate me? The right move might be to say no, even when a colleague would say yes. Every decision you make about your career compounds, even in ways you cannot even understand yet. Shortly after that no, I was recruited to be a global franchise head out of Basel, Switzerland for Novartis. In our first few weeks living in Switzerland, my wife and I sat down with a very distinguished Swiss gentleman, and he was supposed to help us with cultural immersion. His first question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your risk tolerance? My wife and I looked at each other. We said, a 5. He said, interesting. He was stunned. He said, how about an 11? You left your country. You joined a new company. You did not speak the local language. You are leading a business that you know very little about. My friend, you are way out of your comfort zone. You're an 11. Well, he was right. And I had to lean on the 3 R's heavily, because in a new country and in a new company, those were all I had. Results were no longer optional. Relationships had to be built from scratch. My reputation had not yet crossed the Atlantic. But the most valuable years of your career will be when you start taking risks in an 11, not a 5. After 20 years in big pharma, I wanted to see if I could thrive in smaller companies. I left the comfort of my pharma role, and I started saying yes to biotech opportunities. Over the next several years, I helped a rare disease pharma company go public. Then I served as CEO of a French biopharma in Paris, France. I was building a track record as a global leader who could deliver in small companies, not just big ones. Then I said yes to a CEO role I was excited about. A small company with a gene therapy for bladder cancer that had already produced positive trial results. And 6 months in, the FDA rejected the product. The manufacturing issues were going to take at least 2 years to fix, if they could be fixed at all. We made the decision to wind the company down. We laid off everybody, the entire executive team, including myself. At some point in your career, you will live through a version of this: a clinical trial that fails, a submission that gets rejected, a product that gets pulled, a role that ends before you thought it would. It is the cost of working in an industry where the science is hard and the stakes are high. And when it happens, you are not going to be measured by the failure itself. You are going to be measured by how you behaved during and after it. I did not disappear into the failure. I did not blame the manufacturing team or the FDA or the timing. Your reputation is built in times of failure and the work you do when no one is watching. What is valued most is that people in your circle continue to see you as trustworthy, with high integrity and great results despite failure. And these will compound into greater relationships, results, and opportunities. That reputation is exactly what led me to the next opportunity and the one after that, to where I sit today, as CEO of a company delivering curative genetic therapies for the hardest patient populations to treat. I get to do this work every day because of a chain of opportunities I said yes to, beginning with a 17-year-old who joined the Army to pay for college. None of this was planned. My results, relationship, and reputation compounded in the career and the experiences I have today. Since I started in this industry, pharmacy and healthcare have gone from symptom and disease management to innovative, life-changing cures. That is where pharmacy and medicine are going, and you are the generation that is going to take us there along the way. You are sitting here about to receive a degree from one of the best pharmacy schools in the world. You have spent years building relationships with classmates and faculty who will be in your life for decades to come, and you will always be part of the Trojan family. What you do with that head start is up to you. Say yes to opportunities you're not ready for. Build the 3 R's with everything you do: results, relationships, and reputation. They are how to build a career. But the patients you will serve, the family whose lives you will change, the diseases you will help solve is why your career matters. Somewhere out there right now, there's a patient who is going to live longer, live better, or live at all because of what you will accomplish. I cannot wait to see what you do. Congratulations, class of 2026, and fight on.